You know, some people age like a fine wine, and some people age like a can of special brew left on a hot windowsill. Whichever one you are, get ready to talk about those pesky little emotions of yours, because it's time for another episode of I've Had a Rosé, Let's Talk About Feelings. Please welcome your host, Sam Lake. It was me the whole time. Hello everybody! Welcome to another episode of I've Had a Rosé, Let's Talk About Feelings. People have asked me to start explaining what the concept of the show is when the episode starts because they get confused. So every episode I am joined by a lovely guest and we have a drink of their choice and we talk about that, and then afterwards we talk about something that they are passionate about and we explore how it connects to their feelings. Hope that was good enough for that one person who commented on one YouTube video one time. Today, my guest is the very lovely Chris Cantrill.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, how you doing?
Welcome to the studio. Are you comfortable?
I don't know. Somewhere in between. I am now, but I don't feel I'd look comfortable to the outside.
Do you feel like you perform better if you maintain a little bit of tension, a slight gripping of the bum hole?
Yeah, I would say I live completely in that stress state.
In that pocket.
That's why I love the Edinburgh Festival, because I'm just my back straight.
It's such a good time for posture.
Yeah.
Everyone's got very straight spines.
I'm carrying a lot of weight and walking around a lot. It's quite intense physically.
It's like Iron Man.
Oh, very much like Iron Man.
Very much like Iron Man.
Very much like Iron Man. Thanks for bringing it up.
Except instead of swimming, you tell a few jokes.
I tell a few jokes.
Tell a few jokes. The Fringe has only just started. If anyone who's watching, we're recording this in the middle of the Fringe. It just started. How are you finding it? Besides all of the physical exhaustion?
Good, I think. I've done a few Fringes, so you just try and remember. I'm remembering what it was like. And one year, I played to an audience called Norman. So I'm like, anything above just Norman is like, I'm taking this is brilliant.
Was Norman nice, or was he a bit of a tosser?
Bit of a tosser, unfortunately.
Oh, Norman.
Came in to get out of the rain and just read his newspaper by the light of my projector and didn't look at me for an hour.
I have had that where people come in and then they bring something to do during the show. And I think if they bring in a newspaper, that's quite rude.
I had another man who fell asleep during the show.
That does happen.
Yeah, it's hot.
It happens to the best of us, yeah.
Yeah. I get if you've seen 4 a day, it does. I can feel myself zoning out.
Some of the Fringe venues, they do replicate the exact conditions of a womb.
Yes,
It's warm, it's wet, it's cozy.
Yeah, especially when the humidity gets in.
Yeah.
But it's he fell asleep, and then on the way out, I said, oh, did you have a nice nap? And he went, don't worry about it. I've fallen asleep in much better. Oh, that stung. He was rude, and then it really. And then he
added on top of it.
And then he added on top of it. And he didn't need to do.
He thought, I haven't been enough of a bitch.
Yeah,
I can go further.
But that's the good thing about the Fringe, isn't it? You get to meet people.
It's great for networking. So many good connections. Right, well, I feel like then we've earned a little refreshment then.
Yes, please.
So let's talk about your drink of choice. So it's a 0.5% legally classed as non-alcoholic IPA.
Yeah.
Is that the correct one?
Yeah.
If you're about to tell me no, I asked for Bovril.
No. This is what I asked for. I'm having a low alcoholic beer. Yeah. I've set myself the thing of I'm not going to drink any alcohol for at least the first week.
Very good of you.
That's what it is.
Yeah. I had 2 glasses of rosé the other night, which is a normal amount, but I had them on no dinner, and I felt very.
It's like the adrenaline is so high.
Yeah,
it's so stressful. You're anxious about so many things.
Yes.
And I've largely cut down on alcohol a lot just in my general life, because I find it's like throwing gasoline on the anxiety bonfire.
Sure.
So I don't drink that much anyway, but then I was like, if I have 2 beers and I'm going in feeling like anxious in the morning, then it's a disaster. So I'm stopping doing it. So I'm not drinking. I'm clocking in about over 25,000 steps a day.
Oh, well, someone has time to have a sit down then. 25,000.
I keep forgetting to eat. I feel like I'm turning into like a killing machine over the fringe. I'm just getting like fitter and harder and stronger.
Famously, Jeffrey Dahmer, he was just a bit peckish. He was just hungry, bless him.
Good lad, misunderstood.
Misunderstood. Yeah, you've always said that actually. Well, let's have a little try of the thing. Now, are you a connoisseur of the non-alcoholic beer? Do you have what do you look for in the palate of it?
I tend to think that most of these don't taste great, but there's this one called Lucky Saint.
Lucky
which
Saint?
Yeah, which is very good. It feels like you're drinking a proper beer.
Okay.
I don't know what this one is exactly, the specific
You're
brand.
really getting into the
That's what am I doing?
into the bouquet.
Yeah, getting a bouquet.
Having a little sniff.
You know what comes next?
Mouthfeel. I thought you swelled it to see if you could see the I'm going to use a word, and I know it's the wrong word, but I think it could be right, so I'm going to gamble. No, it's not. You know when you get a wine glass and then you swirl it round, and the little trail it leaves around the edge of the glass?
I want to say tannins, but I don't think that's correct.
That is a thing in wine.
But it's not that thing.
But it's like the little line that it leaves around the... Right, if someone could Google it, because I think it's called the jizz of the wine, and I'm pretty sure that's wrong. I know jizz is like a scientific term that doesn't mean jizz. Am I wildly wrong?
I think, is it the tears of the wine you mean?
Oh, okay. Well, what is jizz if not tears from a different...
Tears from the other end.
Sorry. So, yeah, sorry, I thought it was that mouthfeel.
Yeah.
How does... We've done the jizz, now how's the mouthfeel?
Yeah, it's just flowing seamlessly.
Is the mouthfeel... Describe mouthfeel. Is it just like how bubbly it is? Or...
Well, in a different life, I used to work for did marketing for a restaurant that sold Belgian beers.
They're dangerous. They're a high percentage.
Yeah, they're lovely, but then you're like, hang about, this is 8%.
That's high. That's up there.
But they're really nice. So we did have to do a lot of beer tastings and stuff like that. And I don't know whether mouthfeel is a thing that you do rate on beer, but probably. But it's just the people that do it for a living. Oh, they take it seriously.
I'm sure they do.
Oh my, they take it seriously.
Oh, they've swilled a little bit of jizz in their mouth. They
so
sure have. I don't think this is bad. It's kind of fruity. Would you say it's fruity?
Would you drink a beer normally? Because
no.
I know it's a Rosé podcast, so
that is my beverage of choice. I was walking down Cowgate today, and they've opened up one of the pubs that's on Cowgate, and they've set up a little station to give people pints of Jubel.
What's Jubel?
It's like it's a peach flavoured beer, which I've had before, and I thought it was quite nice. But I was walking past it at like 12:30 today, and someone was offering me a full pint in the middle of the street.
Yeah, and there's a lot of acceptable street drinking going on in there. And it's not, you know. Have you heard of a radler?
A radler?
Yeah, Taste of the Summer, officially. It's like a shandy, but with like different fruit juice, like a mango thing.
Oh.
I think you get them on the continent, and I'm campaigning to make it be adopted over here.
Oh, to spend some time on the continent. Oh, you simply must. It's the time of year. Is this to your liking? Is this satisfying?
I really like this, and like I said, I've been bombing around, feeling a bit frantic. It's just lovely to sit down.
It is just, don't you just love a sit down?
Just a lovely sit down.
Oh, I love sitting down. I do. Well, good. We've got you sat down. We've got you a little something in a mug. Shall we move on to the topic that you're passionate about?
Yeah.
And we'll have a good old chat about this. So the broad topic that was given to me was medieval history. But just before the episode started, I think we're zeroing in on the 1300s, the 14th century.
Well, you said what sort of era?
Yeah.
What sort of year? And then I could give you the specific year, like 1330.
1330.
Yeah. I'll tell you what it is. It's a couple of things. One, I turned 40 this year. So I've officially entered middle age.
Are you 40?
Yeah. Just this year. I've been trying to keep it a showbiz secret, but then I've written a full hour of stand-up comedy about it, so the cat's out of the bag. But I've started doing that, so I felt the full compulsion to study medieval history. It started. I think
You
it's something
turned
that comes
40 and then just snapped.
instantly
it
like that. I
happened.
wanted to start looking into my family tree.
Of course.
It's like, I think it comes to us all. So I've done that.
Yeah.
And I've got this book called it's by a guy called Ian Mortimer, and it's called A Time Traveller's Guide to Medieval England.
I really thought you were about to say The Time Traveller's Wife.
The Time Traveller's Wife. It's
Yes.
It's mad. It's mad. This guy is in all the different timelines. It's brilliant. You should check it out.
Oh, if only I could read. So is it true? So 1330 though, is that actually a year that that you happen to know a lot about?
Not that specific.
Not that specific.
This
okay.
book that I'm reading is written as if like someone from our time were to go on holiday almost to the 1300s.
Now,
so it's first
okay.
person perspective.
Yes.
He's like, where do you stay? What do you do for leisure? Who are your friends? Where do you work? You know, like almost like a rough guide, one of those books like you visit in
I
Italy.
see.
But he said it's a different time period. So putting it in those terms brings it to life much more.
And that's very interesting that you put it that way, because often people will say, I was born in the wrong time period. I should have been born in a different time period.
Yes.
There isn't a part of you that thinks that you should have been around in the medieval times, is there?
No, definitely not, because
No.
I'm really au fait with like USB-Cs in plug sockets and stuff. I feel,
And I think it was still USB 2.0 back in those days,
big,
wasn't it?
yeah, originally,
yeah.
big time when they were destroying the monasteries and stuff. So yeah,
Because they didn't have the right sockets. Yes. Okay. So do you ever put yourself in the shoes of this person from the book then, and you imagine yourself in that time period?
well, yeah, to a degree, you know, I've just really got into like knights and battles and armour and stuff. I'm saying it out loud, and a lot
You
of my,
have turned 40.
yeah, a lot of my shows about like the solace of wearing a cape sometimes, you know.
A cape?
Yeah.
Like a knight's cape?
Just like a sort of general medieval.
Oh, just sort of like a cape for just walking around in.
Yeah, although I've been doing the show and talking about wearing a cape, but then someone pulled me to one side in Darlington and said, an urgent correction, that's not a cape, it's a cloak. And I said, I've sent all the flyers to print. I can't. It has to stay as a cape.
It has to stay as a cape.
But I didn't clarify what the line is. I think it might be the head where I've got a little hood.
But it's the magic of theatre. If you say it's a cape, we'll believe it's a cape.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I've been wearing that and going around where I live in the middle of nowhere. Mm-hmm. Just sort of having a bit of fun with it.
Because the thing about you is you just love fun.
That's what I'm known for. It's
You
not what everyone
just
says
love
about me.
having fun. Everyone says you just love having fun. What do you think you would do for fun in the 1300s?
Well, the thing that I found was really interesting is, well, two things. One is there was a lot more different types of lichen.
Like
back in those
werewolves?
No, like lichen. You know, like the mossy thing that you get on the rocks.
Oh, right, okay.
That's lichen, not the werewolf, not werewolves specifically.
Okay.
Although, but there was lots more different types of lichen, and in medieval times, society was much younger than it is now.
Right.
So it was largely, I'd have been old. It's mad, isn't it? So it was largely like a society of 20-somethings in charge. Can you imagine that?
Oh, so it's like Love Island.
It's like Love Island, Black
All
Girl
of
Summer.
medievals. It's like Love Island.
Yeah, it's a nightmare.
Can I just pull you for a chat by the portcullis?
I'd behead you in the town square.
Everyone's been talking about you next to the cannons, if they had cannons in those days. So I asked you what you do for fun, and I think you just said, "Oh, I'd go have a look at some moss."
Yeah. I think if you boil it down into bullet points like that, yeah, I guess it does sound quite boring.
I think I would still go to an all-inclusive in Greece if given the choice.
If either or, yeah, I'll take it. But that's all like because I live near Hadrian's Wall, and it's quite remote, and I did sort of why I did move there. Because I like a mixture. I like coming to fancy places like Edinburgh, but I also like walking around in the middle. And I said to my wife, I said, I like that juxtaposition. I like the balance of some rural, remote time and some city and catching up with friends in the city. And I said to her, I think if I had too much of either one, I'd probably go mad and kill myself.
Oh.
And she said, can you not talk like that in front of our son? So I was like, yeah, fair enough.
I get what you mean, though, and Edinburgh's the perfect city for a bit of that, old and new.
Yeah.
It's a very nice mix.
I really like Edinburgh because it's got a verticality that other cities in the UK don't really have.
Verticality?
You're on top of a bridge.
Yeah.
You look down, there's a whole other street going down.
I see what you mean. Lots of fun levels.
Lots of levels.
We're playing with levels in Edinburgh. We're playing with levels. We're experimenting.
So it's like a little twisty, turny up and down land. And I know after coming here over years, you know, like figuring out the shortcuts and how it all links together well.
Oh yes.
And,
have you got you worked out your little shortcuts that you sort of keep to yourself?
Well, people try to give you a lot of information here as well, don't they? And tell you want to go this way. And I'm not going that way. I'm going. No. Sneaking around.
And it's different during the Fringe because a lot of the places that you would go to, they are now quite overrun.
Yeah, and I've got friends that live here, and when we try to talk and meet up, we are navigating the city by a totally different set of like milestones. You know what I mean? So
right.
I'm like, I'll meet you at the Underbelly.
Yes.
And they're like, do you mean the university building? And I'm like, yeah, I guess. Does it have a big purple cow in it? Like that sort of thing.
My husband told me to meet him at the Dome once. This wasn't during the Fringe, and I went to the Pleasance Dome by mistake and forgot there's another place called the Dome.
What is the other dome?
I don't know because I went to the wrong one. over at Newtown.
George Street.
It's in George Street. They're both Scottish.
Thank you guys for letting us come here.
Oh, they just fist bump. Oh, that's lovely. I love it when it feels like we're just a little family. Okay, Claire. God.
You want us to keep on talking?
Have you always had an interest in all forms of history? Because it seems like the medieval history sort of thirst for knowledge came up when you were 40. You're indulging yourself in it, but has there ever been like a little twinge for being a history buff before then?
Not really.
It's fresh.
It's crept up on me.
What has it like replaced a previous obsession?
I think it's basically an offshoot of playing quite stressful video games with my friends.
Oh, okay.
Where we meet up online and we play like Dark Souls and Elden Ring when they're not fun to play.
No.
Not at all.
That's part of the appeal.
Yeah.
They're very, very difficult.
Very punishing. But in that, we're running around with broadswords and stuff like that. So off of that, I developed an interest in medieval weaponry. And now it's opened up into the wider society.
Oh, well, then I have to ask, what's your favourite medieval weapon?
Big sword.
Right. Given that you've sort of like made this a passionate subject for you, I was expecting slightly more detail than big swords.
But do you know these like how
like a long sword, a broadsword?
Broadsword.
Okay.
But the sort of like this is what, you know, I said it's a young society.
Yeah.
The guy in this book was saying, do not, because these are they don't drink water, they're drinking session ale type stuff, 2%.
They didn't drink beer and stuff because their water was infected with stuff, yeah.
So and they drink session ale, but still that's like 2-3%, but they drink that from being children.
Yeah.
So it's like a chaotic, violent society. And basically it was saying, do not engage in a quarrel with someone from this time period because they are much stronger than we are now because they are farmhands and like lugging these, like carrying armor, carrying these
more
swords.
manual labor going on.
Yeah, so they will basically be able to take us apart like a chimpanzee. Horrifying.
Just some drunk toddlers running around with massive swords.
Do you put out every episode of the podcast you record?
Yeah. Unedited as well.
Completely unedited.
Big sword.
What's the maddest thing you've had to cut out?
Well, I can't say it.
And we'll cut it out again. But is
I
it
can't
like
say
libel? Or
I don't think we've had any libel. It's just sort of like topics that maybe we shouldn't talk about right now or ever. I already feel like I'm saying too much.
okay.
We'll tell you after.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds brilliant. Yeah, I do my podcast. It's like taking out. I'm the one that is. I will be saying something quite libelous quite often.
Libelous.
Yeah.
Actually, the swords were a very relatively normal size,
Yeah.
weren't they?
They weren't that sharp.
Well, because in the video game you get all kinds of fun weapons, like a morning star or a
I was going to say a morning star.
scimitar, big axe.
Scimitar.
Yeah.
Big. I do like a hammer, like a war hammer type vibe. You know.
Yeah,
Big
yeah.
sledgehammer.
So wait, is it medieval history then, or is there also is it like half history, sort of half fantasy? Because medieval times are often in like TV shows and stuff. They add like a little bit of dragons or something, or some mythical beasts, or some other kind of like fun stuff going on. And so when you picture yourself in medieval times, you're like, maybe I'll see a dragon.
I feel like I'm at this. I feel resistant to fantasy, but I'm at the start of it. Like I've just read a couple of fantasy books recently, and I feel I'm getting sucked in. I feel I'm a year away from little elf ears. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Well, would you ever get into like LARPing, live action role playing, or like going to like a medieval fair or something like that?
I really like the idea of going to a medieval fair.
Yeah.
Living as they live. Mm-hmm. Bratwurst. Do you know what I mean? Stuff like that.
But most importantly, with access to a USB-C charger.
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
You want a bit of both, don't you?
Yeah.
So, I think I'd be up. I think I'd potentially be up for a LARPing weekend if you and your husband. Is that what we've suggested?
Oh, my husband's getting involved as well. Yeah, right.
Well, my wife can come and we could do that. I know we don't.
We'll
We'll
form a little adventuring party.
Yeah.
I'll be the bard.
You've been a travelling bard.
A travelling bard.
Yeah.
Bardic knowledge. And can I talk to animals?
roll a d6 to find out.
Me without my D6 on me. Sorry. I'm doing a Dungeons and Dragons show later.
As in, like, participating?
Yeah, it's like a little panel show. You do a very small, short campaign in Dungeons and Dragons in the space of like 50 minutes.
I really want to do that Dungeons and Dragons type role playing stuff, but I don't have the evenings free or the concentrate. It takes a long time.
Some campaigns can go on for ages, and you've got to make it like a regular meetup. And all of my friends are comedians who our schedules are all over the place.
But not on the Thursday nights.
No.
Yeah, good luck.
No, can't do it. We're going to take this back to sort of feelings then. When you think of medieval history, you picture yourself in 1300, you think of your big swords. What feelings come up?
What do you mean? Have I sort of like intrigue? Intrigue and excitement.
I feel like neither of us has done any research on this.
Well, neither of us. I feel like we might not have spoken out loud before, but yeah, intrigue. So excited.
Excitement is good. Revenge.
I don't know. Just, do you know, like, because you read about how it's all set up, like manorial society, working on the land for the Lord. You know, like this sort of. It's basically how the entertainment industry is laid out. You have to curry the favour of fiefs.
That's very true. There is like, in any representation of medieval times, there's always like a very big contrast between like the commoners doing all the work and then the lords in the castle.
Yeah.
There's not like much in the way in the middle. It's one or the other.
Yeah, and a lot of people like working on the land. I was reading a thing where it's like, if you were in that time, basically how you would dress in certain colours.
Yeah.
So that people know basically whose protection you are under. Do you know,
okay, that's
so if you're coming in,
interesting.
so that guy is under the protection of the Lord of the Manor, and so if anything were to happen to him, there would be consequences.
So is that what a lord is supposed to be doing? They're supposed to be protecting like a town or a...
I think it was like, so you'd have, they would look after like a huge area,
Yeah.
which they have to basically manage, and then money is paid to the king.
Right. Okay.
Very different from today.
So it's sort of like a multi-level marketing scheme.
Very, very much so.
It's giving a little bit Avon lady, if I'm being honest.
And they say the further up, the bigger hat you get to wear.
Would you have rather? Would you see yourself as a lord, or would you put yourself as a farmhand, getting all buff and strong and drunk with the children?
Sam, I've been speaking for 28 minutes now. I think we know from my voice, I would not be a manorial lord. I'll be in the
You
field.
never know. I feel like I shouldn't assume just because of the way someone sounds.
I'd be ploughing fields or brewing beer or something mad like that. Something mad like that.
Something crazy. People still brew beer. People still plough things.
But the people that brew beer now are like Robert Plant's son. Do you know what I mean? Stuff
True.
like that.
Okay, yes. Like the Brewdog. Is that the Brewdog people?
No, that's Beavertown, I think. The guy who owns Brewdog is, unfortunately, a mad wanker. So
No.
yeah, he's a bully.
A bully?
Yeah, it's called James Watts. Should we just put it all in?
You can put this in. We've got.
He's
nothing
just got.
yeah.
He's just got done. He's like a conman, and he's a bully, and he's like treats the staff really appallingly, and everything that they built their brand on, they've now gone away. They've come out of looking after staff well. They've come out of like they sponsored like did some Saudi event and stuff like this.
Okay.
These are bad guys. These are bad guys, and a beer's a bit too hoppy. There you go.
I think it's nice to treat people nicely.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, we're both lovely boys who think it's nice to be nice.
And solidarity with the hospitality sector.
Yes. Yeah. And save the bees.
Save the bees.
Yeah.
Unless they're harassing the hospitality sector.
Course.
I will side with the hospitality sector.
Or if they're sexist bees,
Or sexist
they're not
bees.
those ones that are like, I don't know, rude to the queen.
Rude to the queen.
Rude to the queen.
Don't get me started.
Let's not make this another episode about the queen. Jesus Christ. Do you have any final thoughts then about medieval times? I feel like we've covered absolutely everything that one could cover.
The only other thing that's just popped to mind is
Go on.
the colour purple. No. As in,
I don't think that was in medieval times, actually.
as in the colour purple.
the actual
Yeah.
colour purple. Yeah.
So expensive to produce.
Yes.
Reserved exclusively for royalty. Because it made out of a beetle. And it stunk.
Did it smell really bad?
Apparently so.
But it's all about how you looked. History doesn't remember how a king smells.
Yeah. But you would only see like purple as a royal colour, regal colour. And now you see it on phone cases. You know what I mean? Something to think about.
I would think the Quality Street, the big purple one. Big purple one.
Yeah, the big purple box.
Well, I think that sums up everything we need to have said about the medieval times.
What a great time we've had.
What a great time we've had. We've got one last thing to do with you.
Okay.
It's called Quickfire Feelings, okay? So what happens is I've got some random things here, and I'm just going to say them to you, and you very quickly just tell me how you feel about them.
I've not done great at the general feelings questions thus far, but I'm ready to go.
You said you felt excited, which is a feeling.
A feeling, yeah.
So well done. Don't be so hard on yourself. Right. First one, and we ask this to every guest. I love to do a little straw poll about this. How do you feel about dark chocolate?
Oh, not great.
Great. Friend of the pod now. Yeah.
I really enjoy milk chocolate.
No. You are preaching to the choir. The word milk has set them off.
Yeah.
A nice milky chocolate.
Nice milky chocolate.
Nice milky chocolate.
Yeah. What's wrong with that, Claire? What's wrong with milk chocolate?
Okay. Everyone here is very tired.
Yeah. She's gone. Bless her, she's gone.
Great. I agree. I like a milk chocolate. Next thing. How do you feel about turkey bacon?
Not had it.
How would you feel? How do you think you'd feel about it if you had it? Bad. You don't love it. As a concept, I can tell you don't love it.
My friend took me to a vegan restaurant, and I love vegan. There's one in Edinburgh that's amazing, you know, by the Pleasance Dome.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is, but I like vegan food when it's like, when it's vegetables prepared, when it's like the mock stuff, like I had the fake fry up with fake bacon and stuff. It was horrible.
Right. Okay.
It was horrible, but like
turkey famously isn't vegan.
Yeah. What I'm saying. No, that has to get edited out because what I mean is. Like things masquerading as other things.
Yeah,
that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Please, Ewan, I'll sound fake. I'll sound fake, Ewan.
Oh dear. How do you feel about cold water swimming?
Good.
You like that?
I do it.
Like, do you?
Yeah, I live. I go near my house. It takes my family all dive in immediately, and it takes me a full 45 minutes.
Oh, you don't just take the plunge.
I get in and then everyone's getting out, and I do 2 laps. So it takes me a while to get in, but I do enjoy it. It's bracing. You feel alive.
You feel alive.
Yeah.
I like how you feel afterwards.
Yes.
When you feel your blood rushing around.
Yeah.
That's a nice feeling. I agree with that. How do you feel about candy cigarettes? Do you remember those where you get like the little box of white sticks and you pretend they're cigarettes?
I was raised on them. I love them, but we need to ban them immediately, don't we? It's not aged well.
It's not aged well at all, no. And finally, how do you feel when somebody, and you can assume whatever context they're saying this in, comes up to you and says, shall we be a little bit naughty?
I've had that happen to me at the Fringe so far, and it's very hard to...
In what context was someone asking?
As if, should we have a beer?
Have a little beer.
I don't want to drink.
You can't be naughty this first week. You can't.
Not this first week. Got to stay focused. But the urge to like just have a little beer, just be a bit cheeky.
Have a little treat.
Yeah.
Have a little milk chocolate.
I deserve a treat, daughter.
Of course, you always deserve a treat.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're working hard. You deserve a little treat.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. That's the end of that.
Oh, that's brilliant.
And that brings us to the end of the pod. Have you had a nice time?
I've had a lovely time. It's been exactly what I needed. Thank you. Sam.
Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad to hear that. Before we let you go, would you like to plug anything? Would you like to tell people about your show here at the Fringe?
Will it be out soonish? Will it be? Okay,
Yeah.
then yes, I do.
So fast. Yeah. It's pretty much as soon as you leave.
Well, there's obviously a bit of editing to do, isn't there, Ewan? So I'll have to give him a little bit of time. But, okay, I've got a show. It's called Easily Swayed. It's 12:10 every day at the Tron with Monkey Barrel, and it is a show about middle-age, high fantasy and fine silks. I hadn't said it out. I've written that down a lot, and then I hadn't said it out loud.
It's just that you said the last bit so loudly.
Yeah, so it shocked me, and I wrote it. So we're doing that. The other thing, I've got a podcast too. It's called Rural Concerns. I think it came out kind of exactly when you started doing this. I've sort of see us as
lovely.
podcast brothers, really, in a way. We're on a journey.
Brothers in arms.
We're on a journey.
Got a couple of huge swords on us.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely. Definitely check out that pod. Definitely check out the show. I'm sure it's wonderful. I think we don't clash, but my show is immediately after yours.
You can't
finishes.
be.
I don't think I can.
I could finish mine and go into yours, but you cannot come into mine. You need to be in the zone.
I've simply got to be in the zone. But I would encourage everyone listening to go see your show and listen to the pod. I'm also here at the Fringe doing a show. It's called Esmeralda on every day. Also here at Monkey Barrels. Definitely check that out. It's about Spain and the Ice Age movies and my dead mum. Sorry, I was just trying to do it the same way that you did it. You can follow the pod at I've Had a Rosé on social media. Don't forget to subscribe to the pod to get new episodes every week. We'll be back again with another lovely guest. Until then, bye-bye.
Bye.